Okay. I forgot to turn off my notifications and I was trying to swipe it up, but I hit it and it took me to a different app. So I cut that video. So I'm just going to do a part two, and I'll probably, most people don't watch part twos. So I'm not going to talk long, but in case anybody was interested and wanted to hear more what I was saying, I'm just going to continue that and then wrap up this reading and leave it at that. But again, the sacred darkness, and if you are here as a template builder, then you would have dipped into that many times throughout your life, and you probably went through a lot of self-hatred and self-rejection because you didn't fit in. So again, that fearless and bold, aligning with who you are and recognizing and honoring that you're here for a different reason. You have different codex. You're here to help anchor in that higher energy and to create this higher template. And that's what you've been doing your whole life. Even if you felt like you were a mess and you kept, just having one failure or one, kind of like drama or chaos after another for your entire life while everybody else just kind of like, got it right. You were doing something different, right? And a lot of us have come to that kind of self-love and self-acceptance and self-understanding, but when we are in that self-hatred, then we do get a lot of attack, and this type of energy, the lower energy that just exists in this realm, will feed off of that. It'll feed off of that, which is part of why all the hijack and the focus on the positive. So it's almost like a direct attack on those of us that are doing the template building, because we're hardwired to have that darkness within us to meet it, and then it makes it really hard to be able to just alchemize and move through it in a natural way, because we're programmed to think that it's not natural and something is wrong. So then they get to feed on you and dampens your light and all that. But we're waking up out of all of this. And this is what I'm feeling about this time, where a lot of people are finding their power in the dark. They're unraveling these stories and unraveling these programs and unraveling this fear, and standing in the midst of it and just saying, like, no, I don't believe you anymore. I don't believe you anymore. I know who I am. I know I am here. And that's that energy of being fearless and bold, where you're facing that demon, you're facing that dragon, you're facing that programming, you're facing the fear of not fitting in, or the fear of like going against like a huge freight train of programming that puts us in this whole other frequency, and standing out alone at the edge of this cliff and being like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know. But at a certain point, it's like that Anansi Nin quote, at a certain point, the threat, what was it, like the rose, I can't remember, you probably know which one I mean, the threat of staying closed. Yeah, the threat of staying closed was worse than the threat of opening, where it's like, because until we make that jump and until we take that risk and we discover that we can fly and that we are held, it's like in Labyrinth. I've watched this movie a million times because it was my daughter's favorite movie with David Bowie, Jared the Goblin King, where he has all his illusions, and as soon as she says, you have no power over me, the whole thing crumbles. And that's all we need, that's all we need to do. But until we do that, we get close to the edge, and then we're like, no, I can't, we get close to the edge and we can kind of like wobble on there. But as soon as we take that step, then we see that this was never real. And I feel like a lot of people are coming to that point. And so, and again, we can wobble on the edge, and then we can kind of go over the threshold, and then we kind of stabilize there. And then I should have turned off my notifications before. I'm not going to touch it. I don't want to go off again, but and then, there's another edge we got to go through, and it can be scary. But eventually we come to an edge and we're just not scared, and we just jump because we just know. And I feel like that's the point that a lot of us are at and are getting to, and are just feeling our wings, where it's like, oh my gosh, just this liberation. So, and that's that co-creation. That's where things get really good. That's the cusp of the Aquarian age that we're on right now as we're wrapping up. And so that makes sense also with the what I was just saying about confronting that program, that calcification, and again the stuff with the joints and the Capricorn. All the ways that we've gotten rigid and calcified, and we got to do it this way. And just confronting that and moving through that. That's very much what we would be doing as Mars and Pluto are in the last degrees of Capricorn, and Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2009. So and I'm a Capricorn, so this is like a huge finale, a huge breakthrough. I bet all the Capricorns in the world are just like, oh my God, So let me pull a little bit more. I guess hey, 444. I just saw 444. That's another card. That's whenever I'm going through any kind of like weird thresholdy things, I always see 444. And one time I saw 444. combined with a song that was basically singing about how you're safe and the angels. And I forget what the exact words were, but every time I see 444, it's like that structure. You're safe to fly out over that edge, which is so amazing that I saw that. You're safe to fly out over that edge. You will be caught. I was talking about the hawks and the eagles in that last reading, always coming to me in those moments. 444 comes to me in those moments as well. So all about the threshold. The keeper of secrets. I keep getting this card and I love it. Like, look at her. She's like, just you wait. You know, like there's just right behind the veil, right behind the illusion of this, you know, is again this is the card that I'm using as liberation and freedom. And it's kind of like that, like this kind of energy is in the air where there's this excitement. So the other day I was sitting with my daughter, I was in her room, and all of a sudden I felt like I was like, oh my God, you know, like something's going on. And it was just sort of that threshold moment energy again, where I felt like I was crossing over energetically, or we were crossing over energetically into this whole new bandwidth, or this whole new, you know, it's like this, like we were teetering on this, or, you know, it's something like that. But I felt like nauseous and kind of dizzy, but not physically. It was like I felt energetically nauseous and dizzy, where I was just like, oh my God, you know. But it was again that moment where, like, had it been years ago, I might have had a bunch of anxiety, or I might have gotten really scared, or I might have needed to like distract myself or something. But I was just like, wow. And then it passed, you know, because I didn't resist it all. It just passed. And then maybe 5 minutes later, all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, like that just came in, and then no thoughts, no, you know, I wasn't like pondering about that. I just let it flow through. And then all of a sudden I had all this energy of excitement and happiness. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited and happy. And then I realized, oh, I'm probably excited and happy over this like energy wave that I just felt come in, you know, which very much felt like this, like humanity was moving into, or there's this new energy signature that came in. And, you know, I caught a whiff of it, you know, where I was like, whoa, what was that? You know, I don't know what that was. That was new. I don't know what it is. Then I got super, super excited. So now a couple days later, it's like, I feel like I'm kind of decoding that. But again, that kind of secret of like, you know, if you're tuning in behind the scenes, there is a lot of mirth and a lot of like, you know, just kind of like, just you wait, something really good is coming here. So that's really beautiful. All right. Yeah. I wish that reading wouldn't have gotten cut off. But wisdom. This always reminds me of like the Akashic records. You know, everything that our souls have journeyed through and accumulated, whether it's through our own experiences or through, you know, the unity principle, where we can pretty much osmose anything, any archetype, any information, you know, we have access to. And standing on that, this is a number 22. That's a master builder number, so that's another template builder thing. It's like we are encoded with this. We have access to all of this. We know exactly how to do this, and it comes back to this. It's like that, the geometry of all that we need to stabilize and walk through into this, the anchoring of these higher energies, which is our birthright, which is what we came for. This is a birthright card too. You know, you deserve it. You deserve it because you are it. You're encoded with it. It's inevitable, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, 22 being a master builder number. You know, you came in encoded with this, and this is what you will experience. So again, another reminder as we choose to lean into that you know, that higher aspect of ourselves, and to not fall for this. Okay, master builder, you've come in this, and your higher self. This is all of our higher selves. It's just like, oh, silly, you know, like just you wait, you know. So, and then we also get power. That's right. So we have the infinite power. We have the power to do everything that we came here to do, and not falling for any of this programming and this bullshit that makes us feel that we are small. The sky's really interesting right now. The sun is setting, and there's just like, anyway, I never mind. It's just really powerful. It feels really amazing and beautiful out there right now, which is really interesting. So yeah, and there are lines in the sky that kind of remind me of this, like these, just like a sunset streaks. And so anyway, us having the power, what number is this? 16. That's not speaking to me in this moment. But anyway, having the power to do everything that we are encoded with, everything that we came down here for, and just remembering that, and leaning into that as we, when we're in these choice points and these threshold points, when these things come up, as we're moving through the last degrees of Capricorn, with Mars debilitated, you know, and Jupiter's going retrograde. So, you know, there's some funny energy, but again, this feels like a really gorgeous reminder of, just that we are doing this, and that we've worked really, really hard, and yet we have everything that we need. And a lot of us are starting to really break through into this kind of full energy where the universe's favorite child and we're creating together. So definitely a joint effort here. So thank you for watching. If you came on to part number 2 and wanted to hear the last bit of everything that came through. So yeah, so we'll see what happens on the other side of this election. I don't know, but it doesn't even fucking matter because the outcome is inevitable. You know, it's already been written. We're already coded with this. You know, it's like that which thinks it's separate and that which we can think is separate is actually not. It's still part of the whole, and everything ends up being in service to the light. So again, you know, just having that higher perspective, that higher faith, that higher knowing, remembering this, our higher selves are just smiling down at us, always there, just waiting for us to ask, you know, to hook up with that higher timeline so we can jump into being in this kind of energy regardless of what is going on and regardless of where the people around us are at or choosing to be at as well, because again, what we put in is what we get more of. So anyway, much love to you all, and it'll be fun to commune later on after, you know, this huge long awaited kind of event in the world, and just seeing where we're at. You know, it's the drama, it's the TV show. It's like just getting our popcorn right. All right, so I'll see you next time if I do. Bye-bye.